I need you to stop what you're doing and listen. Not later. Not after the distractions settle. Now. Because what I'm about to say is not just another message, it's a divine interruption. I'm in the same room as you. Yes, the very space you're in right now is filled with my presence, and you have no idea what's already moving around you. This is not comfort speech. This is holy confrontation. You've been asking if I'm still near, and I'm about to prove it. So don't you dare scroll. Don't you mute me halfway. Don't treat this like background noise. Watch until the final breath of this word, because I will speak things that rewrite your atmosphere. Every second is laced with purpose. Every moment is charged with glory. Stay, child, because if you walk away too soon, you'll miss what you were born to hear. My beloved child, hush the noise of your surroundings and the whirlwind of thoughts in your head. This is not a casual moment. It is not fleeting or random or imagined. It is divine. It is deliberate. And it is happening now. Right now. While your eyes read these words and your chest rises and falls with every breath, I am here. Not just watching. Not just thinking of you from a distance. I am in the same room. The very room where your pain has echoed in silence. The room where your prayers have been whispered between tears. I am standing beside you with the full weight of my glory, yet with the tenderness of a father whose love cannot be measured. This isn't poetic imagery. This isn't some comforting thought crafted to make you feel better. This is the truth, your reality, and it's more real than the chair beneath you or the wall surrounding you. My presence is not far off. It is not a hope or a way. It is here. I have stepped in not because something went wrong, but because something had been set right. The time, the alignment, the call in your spirit, they've all merged into this sacred second. And I chose this very breath to make you aware. You are not alone. You've waited for my voice, hoping for signs in the sky or miracles that shout with thunder. But child, I'm not just a God of spectacle. I am the God of stillness, of breath, of intimacy. And I chose to step into your room with quiet majesty because I wanted you to feel me before you saw me. I didn't send a messenger. I didn't tap someone else on the shoulder to comfort you. I came myself. I've watched your soul grow weary with wondering if I left, if I grew distant, if perhaps you did something wrong that made me turn away. But hear me. Not only have I never left, I have been leaning in, waiting for your spirit to be still enough to notice that I was here all along. My child, what you're feeling right now is not just emotion. It is encounter. It is the brush of eternity against time, the echo of my voice that never stopped speaking, even when your ears couldn't discern it. You were never waiting for me to arrive. I was waiting for the silence to become deep enough that your heart could hear the truth. I'm in the room. And when I step into a space, it becomes sacred. It becomes holy ground. So take off the shoes of performance. Lay aside the garments of guilt and shame. Stand, or weep, or kneel, however your soul must respond, but do it knowing this. You are not entertaining a fantasy. You are experiencing the nearness of your Creator. And I did not come to visit. I came to stay. My beloved, I've listened to every whisper that trembled out of your chest when you thought no one was awake. I've seen your face pressed against the tear-soaked pillow, your voice too fragile to rise above a whisper, and yet, that whisper was thunder in my ears. You didn't realize it, but every syllable you've spoken in pain became a sound that shifted heaven. You may have cried yourself into sleep thinking I was distant, but child, I was right there. I didn't just hear your words, I felt the ache behind them. I didn't need volume to be moved. I needed your honesty. And oh, how you've been honest with me in the darkness. You never had to shout for me to hear you. You never had to write the perfect prayer or quote a single verse to capture my attention. You simply had to be real, and you were. In your weakness, I leaned in closer. In your trembling vulnerability, I drew near with all the tenderness of a father who never grows weary of his child's voice. I was never looking for performance. I was waiting for the rawness of your heart, and you gave it to me. I want you to know that I didn't stand back, watching you suffer from some distant heaven. No, I came down and sat beside you. I was in the quiet corner of your room, closer than your own breath. I watched the war behind your smile, the exhaustion behind your routine. And while the world saw someone strong, I saw someone carrying too much alone. And that's why I chose this moment, right here, right now, to tell you, you don't have to carry it alone anymore. I'm not waiting for you to clean yourself up or finish your breakdown so I can step in. I already have. My robe is brushing the broken places on your floor. My hand is resting on the parts of your heart that ache silently. This is not figurative, child. This is me, Emmanuel, God with you, seated in the room, feeling the temperature of your sorrow, wrapping myself around the chill of your loneliness. You thought, if God really loved me, wouldn't I feel him? And I say to you, you have felt me, in the moments when strength surged for no reason, when peace quieted the chaos without warning, when tears fell but didn't destroy you. That was me, not a metaphor. And we. So listen closely now, because I'm speaking straight into that place inside you that still wonders if your voice matters to me. I'm telling you not as a distant king, but as the one sitting at the foot of your bed right now. I have heard every word, even the ones you were too afraid to say out loud. Even the words you whispered to the ceiling at 3 a.m., hoping someone, anyone, might be listening. I didn't just hear them. I caught them. I stored them in the archives of heaven as holy. Not one syllable was wasted. Not one question went unnoticed. Not one ache was too small for my concern. You need to know this. When others dismissed your struggle, I archived it. When others ignored your pain, I engraved it. And when you thought no one saw what it cost you to keep trusting me, I saw everything. I don't forget what you say in private. In fact, the things spoken in secret have the loudest impact in my kingdom. Because the prayers born from pain are the ones that shift atmospheres. And yours, beloved, have not only moved me, they've moved what you can't see. You thought I was silent, but I was answering you in realms beyond your comprehension. Before you even opened your eyes today, I was already here, waiting, preparing, anticipating this encounter. Before the weight of this world pressed its fingerprints on your shoulders again, I had already written my fingerprints across the timeline of your day. Nothing you've experienced today was unknown to me. Not the weariness, not the disappointments, not the aching silence you've grown used to. I saw it all coming, and I positioned this moment as a divine collision between your desperation and my sovereignty. You didn't just stumble into this message. You were summoned. You were drawn by an invisible cord of grace, one I've been tightening around your heart slowly, gently, lovingly, until you could no longer ignore the tug. That tug, beloved, was me. I've orchestrated this exact breath, this very second, this quiet room, this screen before you, because I needed to say something that all your noise, all your striving, all your survival could no longer drown out. You are not invisible to me. You may have felt ignored by people, overlooked by opportunities, bypassed by blessing, but child, never once have you been forgotten by me. I have etched your name into the folds of eternity. It doesn't fade. It doesn't slip through the cracks of divine memory. You are not lost in the crowd of my creation. You are the focus of my attention. You are the subject of my orchestration. And this moment is not just a passing comfort. This is divine proof that I still write your name in places the world cannot access. This is heaven's handwritten reminder that you matter more than you've dared to believe lately. I didn't allow you to feel the weight of loneliness to punish you. I allowed it so you could finally distinguish the counterfeit from the real. And this, what you're feeling right now, this holy interruption, this sacred warmth stirring deep in your chest, this is the realest thing you've encountered in a long time. This is the voice of the one who never left. Let me be clear, my child. I did not abandon you in the hallway of heartbreak. I walked those corridors beside you. I held your hand when you felt it go numb. I steadied your knees when they buckled under the burden of unanswered questions. I was there in every why, in every how long, in every sigh that didn't make it into language. The enemy has tried to convince you that your invisibility means irrelevance. But I say to you, your hiddenness was intentional. I was shielding you while I prepared you. I was hiding you while I healed you. I was quiet, not because I forgot you, but because I was preparing the platform upon which your purpose will stand. And I couldn't let premature eyes see what I was still perfecting in secret. But now, the veil is thinning. Now, the silence is giving way to sound. And now, the unseen becomes undeniable. I'm not just reminding you that you're not alone. I'm proving it. With my presence, with my power, with a moment so saturated in me, it will become the cornerstone of your next chapter. This is not the end of your waiting. This is the turning of the page. My beloved, the atmosphere around you is not still, it is saturated. Saturated with glory. Soaked in the scent of breakthrough. Thick with the weight of what has long been prophesied over your life. And though your natural senses may still be trying to catch up, your spirit already knows. It recognizes the rhythm of my footsteps, the quiet combustion of the divine in motion. That stirring you felt in the stillness. That unexplained ache that rose in your chest when nothing around you seemed to warrant it. That wasn't anxiety, it was awakening. I have entered the room, and with me comes the tremble of transformation. I don't step lightly when I step in love. And for you, beloved, I stepped in with thunder disguised as tenderness. Every cell in your being is reacting, even if your mind doesn't know how to name it. That heat behind your eyes, the inexplicable pressure in your chest, those aren't random. They're resonance. Your soul is echoing the presence it was designed to long for. I am shifting the atmosphere not with noise but with weight. Not with a scream but with sacred stillness. When I move, it's not always loud, but it is never small. The weight of my glory settles like thick dew on dry ground. It sinks into the places where you felt barren and breathless. This is not imagination. This is incarnation, the Word becoming presence, not just in the world but in your world, in your very room. The temperature of your circumstance is changing, not because conditions are perfect, but because I showed up. You've been asking, when will something finally shift? And here's my answer. Now. Not next year. Not when you're stronger. Not when you have more faith. The shift begins not when the world makes sense, but when your spirit begins to sense me. And child, it already has. Your inner world is vibrating with anticipation because heaven has descended, and it's not leaving empty-handed. Don't be surprised if things begin to feel unfamiliar. The shift doesn't bring comfort first. It brings contrast. What once felt safe may now feel suffocating. What used to satisfy may suddenly seem stale. That's not a sign that something is wrong. That's a sign that you've changed. The old wineskin cannot contain the new wine. I'm expanding your capacity by stretching what's been too tight for too long. Yes, the ground beneath you is moving. Yes, the air around you is charged. Yes, the ache in your spirit is real. But none of it is chaos. It is consecration. I'm not disturbing your world to destroy it. I'm disrupting it to deliver you into something deeper. Something designed. Something drenched in the details of your destiny. I didn't come to tickle your emotions. I came to till the soil of your calling, to break through the hardened places and make room for the seeds I've planted to erupt and bloom. So do not fear the shift. Do not retreat from the shaking. This isn't the enemy rattling your cage. It's me rattling the chains. Chains of disappointment. Chains of delay. Chains of diminished dreams. I'm not here to ask for permission. I'm here to possess what is mine. And you, beloved, are mine. Fully deeply, irrevocably. The atmosphere knows it. The angels surrounding you know it. The enemy knows it. And now it's time you remember it. When I step into a room, things must bow. Fear must flee. Confusion must dissolve. Hope must rise. That's the climate of my presence, and it is the climate you're breathing in now. This is not a metaphor. This is manifestation. This is me, interrupting the rhythm of the world around you to restore the sound of heaven within you. Feel it. Hear it. Receive it. The shift has begun, and it has your name written all over it. You've called it anxiety. You've named it panic. You've tried to silence it with distractions, drown it in noise, suffocate it with logic. But child, that tightness wasn't a threat, it was a taut, a holy touch, a divine disruption. You weren't losing control. You were coming into alignment. That pressure in your chest wasn't the world closing in on you. It was your spirit expanding, stretching, breaking open under the weight of awakening. You weren't being crushed. You were being called. You see, when my presence gets close, your body responds. Your breath stutters, your thoughts scatter, your heart begins to pound because it's sensing something deeper than intellect. That's not chaos. That's contact. Heaven colliding with humanity. Eternity brushing against your temporal mind. And it's me. It's always been me. The ache, the weight, the sudden rush of unexplainable emotion. Those weren't symptoms of disorder. They were signals of divine order returning to the places inside you that have been crying out for me. You keep looking for peace to feel like stillness. But peace is not always passive. Sometimes peace presses in, stirs you awake, and confronts the slumber of your spirit. I didn't come to numb you. I came to ignite you. To provoke the part of you that stopped feeling, stopped hoping, stopped believing I would actually show up like this. And so I used what you called anxiety as an alarm clock, not to torment you, but to tenderize you. The heaviness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You were feeling pressure because I was placing my hand on your heart. Not to weigh it down, but to rewire it. To recalibrate your capacity to sense me again. This world has dulled your sensitivity, desensitized you with endless distractions and shallow answers. So I came closer. And when I did, everything inside of you began to respond. Not with terror, but with tremble. A holy trembling. The kind that awakens dry bones and quickens dead places back to life. And now that you know, child, stop calling what's divine by the names the world has assigned. This isn't panic. This is presence. This isn't breakdown. This is breakthrough. I'm not attacking you. I'm awakening you. And the awakening begins in the body before it ever reaches the mind. You didn't need to understand what was happening to you to be changed by. What mattered was your willingness to stay, to breathe through it, to cry through it, to trust me in the middle of it. And you did. You stayed. You did shut me out, even when you did recognize it was me. And now, here we are, in the aftermath of that pressure, in the soft space of revelation. I was never trying to scare you. I was simply shaking loose the numbness that had settled on your soul. I came for your heart, not just your head. I came for your nearness, not your performance. And now I want you to embrace what you've been resisting. Let the tears fall. Let the breath come deeper. Let your hands open. The pressure has shifted into presence. The ache has transformed into access. And the same weight that once overwhelmed you is now the glory resting on your shoulders. You didn't imagine this. You didn't exaggerate it. You survived it, and now you are being transformed by it. Because I didn't just let you feel me. I let you carry the evidence of my presence. That evidence will stay with you. It will become your discernment. It will become your direction. And most of all, it will become your reminder that even when it felt like everything was caving in, I was caving in the walls that once kept you from me. My child, I know what it's felt like lately, like you've been walking through rooms dimmed by delay, corridors clouded with confusion, days draped in shadows. You kept looking for the light, hoping it would break through the cracks of your routine, waiting for a sign, a flicker, a spark. But you began to wonder, was it always this dim? Or did the light simply leave me? And I lean in now to tell you this. The light didn't leave. It was shielded, preserved, hidden for the holy hour when your heart could hold it again without fear. And that hour is now. The light you thought was fading is about to blaze again. But this time, it won't flicker in and out. This time, it won't dance on the edge of uncertainty. This time, it will flood your world with brilliance. It will be brighter than you remember, not because the light has changed, but because you have. You've been tempered by tears, sharpened by silence, and prepared by perseverance. You don't need the soft light of reassurance anymore. You're ready for the glory glow of revelation. This light, my light, doesn't just illuminate your path. It restores your identity. It reminds your soul that it was never meant to survive in darkness, but to shine, to shimmer, to reflect the radiance of the one who formed it. You are not just a recipient of light. You are a carrier of it. And the reason you felt the ache so deeply when the light seemed to dim is because your soul remembers Eden. It remembers the unbroken fellowship, the walking together in the cool of the day. That's what's been stirring inside of you. Not anxiety, not emptiness, but an ancient ache for nearness. And I say this now, my nearness does not bring pressure. It brings peace. Not a passive peace that settles for survival, but a roaring, radiant, resounding peace that rebuilds what was broken. It doesn't whisper, it roars. My peace walks into the battlefield of your emotions and silences every lie with a single breath. My peace doesn't ask your permission to heal. It simply enters and establishes itself like a kingdom reclaiming lost territory. You've been measuring your life by how long the darkness has lasted. But I'm measuring it by the depth of light that's about to be revealed. Your midnight is not a monument. It's a setup. The darkness was never permanent. It was only there to create contrast. So when my light breaks in, it won't just change your surroundings. It will transform your soul. So don't flinch when the brightness returns. Don't shield your eyes from the very thing you once begged for. Let it in. Let it warm your frozen places. Let it flood the corners you thought were too far gone. The cold seasons did not kill your calling, they clarified it. And now, my light is coming, not as a trickle, but as a tidal wave. Brighter than your past, stronger than your pain, warmer than the love you lost. This is not recycled comfort. This is resurrected communion. And it begins with one simple truth. I never left. I never withdrew. I never turned my face away. I've been walking with you through the shadows, not because I needed you to suffer, but because I needed you to learn to discern me even when the lights went out. Now, child, look up. The dawn is breaking, and it carries your name. You've asked me over and over again, God, if this is real, you give me a sign. You wanted something obvious, undeniable, unshakable, something that couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. You didn't want comfort, you wanted confirmation. You didn't need another inspirational word. You needed a divine interruption. And beloved, here it is. This moment, this breath, this encounter is not another message. It's not another nice idea. It is me. I didn't send a signal. I didn't delegate this delivery. I didn't whisper it to angels or drop it in shadows. I came myself. Because what you're walking through is too important for second-hand revelation. I came to meet you in person, in spirit, in the sacred intersection between your question and my answer. You stood at the crossroads of doubt and desire, whispering prayers you were scared to say out loud. You wanted to believe. Oh, how you wanted to, but you were afraid to be wrong again. Afraid to get your hopes up only to see them dashed. Afraid that maybe this wasn't really me speaking after all. But I tell you now, with thunder behind every syllable and tenderness in every pause, this is me. And I'm not just responding to your need. I'm fulfilling a promise. You asked for clarity, and clarity doesn't always come through clouds parting or stars aligning. Sometimes it comes through a sacred whisper that pierces deeper than sound. Sometimes it comes when your spirit knows before your mind can understand. And that's what's happening now. A heat behind your eyes, that pull in your chest, that tremble in your soul that refuses to settle. That is me, confirming what you already suspected deep down but didn't dare believe. I am speaking, and you are hearing me rightly. You thought, maybe I'm just making this up. You're not. You thought, maybe it's just wishful thinking. It isn't. I am confirming what you've only had glimpses of until now. I'm coming close not to demand, but to validate. I'm removing the fog. I'm removing the need for middlemen. I'm speaking to you, directly, intimately, undeniably. And I'm doing it because this season of your life requires precision, not guesswork. You can't afford to hesitate anymore. You can't afford to walk half sure, half doubtful. And so, I stepped in, not with suggestion, but with certainty. I am speaking, and you are hearing. And let me tell you this. I would never train your spirit to hear me, only to confuse you. I would never teach you my tone, only to speak in riddles. No, beloved, my voice is becoming familiar. My presence is becoming your compass. And you don't need to explain that to anyone else. I didn't come to convince the crowd, I came to confirm your calling. So breathe. Stop asking for another sign. Stop questioning if this moment is holy. It is. I've surrounded it, saturated it, sealed it with the signature of heaven. You don't need to wait for lightning to strike or fire to fall. The confirmation you asked for isn't coming from outside. It's rising from within. Because the one who called you is the one who confirms you. And I am here, with you, in you, around you. This is not the voice of motivation. This is the voice of the Messiah. This is not another word of hope. It is a decree from heaven. What you've been sensing, I now say aloud, yes, it's me. Yes, I'm calling. Yes, you're hearing rightly. Yes, this is the time. And yes, I came myself, because you're worth the journey. You may have grown so accustomed to being left behind, to being overlooked, to doors staying closed, that you almost expected me to do the same. But I didn't. I don't knock when the door is already mine. I don't wait to be invited into the very heart I created with my own hands. I don't hesitate when my child is hurting. I enter, without permission, without warning, without apology. Because when love is this deep, it doesn't stay on the sidelines. And child, I need you to hear this. I didn't just show up. I moved in. I stepped through the atmosphere with intention, carrying not just comfort, but covenant. Not just compassion, but command. You didn't even know how close you were to breaking, and that's why I broke through first. I interrupted your spiral. I intercepted your collapse. I entered not as a visitor but as the victor, the one who wars for what belongs to him. And you, beloved, are mine. I don't leave mine in storms unshielded. I don't abandon them to the accusations of the enemy or the isolation of the midnight hour. I come armed with presence. I come soaked in mercy. I come clothed in justice. I step into the battlefield that fear erected around you, and I declare, this ground is no longer a war zone. It's holy. You didn't summon me with polished prayers. You didn't even call me by name. But I came anyway, because I saw what you couldn't say. I heard what never left your lips, and I knew that delay would be defeat. So I overrode protocol and descended into your very space with the full weight of heaven's authority. This is not poetic. This is personal. This is not a dream. This is divine reality. I didn't need your invitation because your ache was loud enough. The groan of your spirit summoned me more powerfully than any formal request ever could. And now that I'm here, truly, fully, undeniably, I need you to stop apologizing for being needy. I want you to stop feeling guilty for falling apart. I didn't show up because you had it all together. I showed up because you didn't. I didn't wait for your posture to be perfect. I came because your pain was prophetic. It was the proof that your heart is still alive, still open, still reaching, even if your arms were too tired to stretch. You are not an afterthought. You are not an obligation. You are not a burden I reluctantly carry. You are my beloved, my priority, my joy. And when you started to lose your grip, I tightened mine. When you started to fade, I came with fire. When you couldn't stand, I stood over you with the shield of my name. That's who I am. Not a distant deity waiting for performance, but a relentless father who rushes into rooms no one else dares to enter. So don't ask me if I'm staying. Don't wonder if I'll retreat. I didn't come to visit. I came to abide. I'm not peeking in through the window of your heart hoping you'll let me stay. I've already made myself at home in the places you thought were too messy to be holy. And listen, the reason I didn't knock is because I never left. I've been here, silent, maybe, but never absent. Waiting, yes, but never walking away. I don't leave mine. I don't lose mine. I don't overlook mine. You may feel lost in the world, but you're found in me. I came to remind you. I came to rescue you. I came to remain. Oh, my precious child, how often you've wept in silence, smiling with cracked lips and trembling hands. You didn't let anyone see the war behind your eyes. You kept functioning when you were falling apart inside. You put on strength like a borrowed garment, hoping it would last just long enough to get through the next conversation, the next obligation, the next unbearable day. And while others were applauding themselves for victories they shouted aloud, you were fighting in the shadows. Alone. Undervalued. Uncelebrated. But not unseen. Ever unseen. I watched every single step. And not as a passive observer, but as a weeping witness. As a father who never took his eyes off his child. Every silent tear was a declaration of faith. Every hidden breakdown was a burnt offering on the altar of surrender. Every time you chose not to quit, even when quitting made the most sense, heaven paused and wrote it down. Yes, I have a record. Not of your mistakes, not of your missteps, but of your moments of obedience under pressure. You kept walking when your legs ached with despair. You kept speaking life when your own mouth wanted to taste bitterness. You kept extending grace when your heart was bruised by betrayal. And I didn't just notice. I honored it. I archived it. I documented every defiant act of faith you perform in secret, when no one was watching but me. Do you know what that makes you? Not weak, not foolish, but dangerous. Because those who keep walking without applause are the ones I trust with assignments that require integrity. You didn't perform for attention. You persevered for purpose. And child, I saw it all. The quiet battles, the muffled cries, the I'm okay-s that hit a breaking heart. You were never faking, you were fighting. And now, it's time for the reward that doesn't come in stages, it comes in suddenness. Because with heaven record, heaven responds. I'm not letting one tear go unredeemed. I'm not leaving one sacrificial yes unnoticed. Your loyalty in obscurity is what has activated visibility. You thought I was waiting for a better version of you to bless, but I was waiting for the perfect moment to release what your hidden faith made room for. This isn't a delayed response. It's a designed release. And what's coming now is not a single answer to a single prayer. It's a divine avalanche of long-held promises, stored behind the veil until your spirit could carry their weight without crumbling. What you did quietly, I'm about to honor publicly. What you gave up in private, I'm about to replace in ways that leave no room for doubt. So stop rehearsing the moments you thought were meaningless. Stop thinking your obedience was wasted because no one noticed. I noticed. I noticed when you stayed loyal while being overlooked. I noticed when you forgave without receiving closure. I noticed when you believed when belief felt like a mockery. And child, I am the God who keeps receipts. I'm the one who weighs tears heavier than words. I am the Father who turns hidden obedience into historic outpouring. You were never passed over. You were preserved. You were never denied. You were divinely documented. And now, heaven is cashing in every tear. The scroll is being opened. The season is shifting. And the steps you thought were invisible are the very ones I'm now using to build your elevation. Oh, my precious one. Let me tell you something that religion may have whispered wrongly. I don't require a clean room to enter. I don't wait for spotless floors and perfect prayers. I don't hesitate at the sight of chaos. I don't flinch at the sound of weeping. I don't recoil from disorder. I don't require silence. I don't demand excellence. I come for the mess. The very mess you've been trying to hide from me. That's the exact address I was drawn to. The room doesn't scare me. The tears don't stop me. The unmade bed, the unopened bills, the anxious energy in the air, none of it makes me turn away. In fact, that's where my love shines brightest. Not in sanctuaries made of stone and stained glass, but in the broken spaces where you thought no holy thing would dare step. You've tried so hard to tidy your soul, to mop up the grief, sweep away the guilt, organize the trauma into tidy little boxes so it wouldn't offend me. But child, I'm not offended by your pain. I'm drawn to it. You think I only dwell in places with peace, but I create peace in places where none can be found. You think I need quiet to speak, but I speak through storms, through sobs, through screams. You think I wait for order, but I hover over chaos, just like I did at the very beginning. In the beginning, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And yet, there I was, moving, hovering, speaking light into darkness, form into formlessness. And what I did in Genesis, I am doing again now, in your life, in this room. I've come to hover over the mess, not because I'm helpless, but because I'm about to reshape everything. Don't let the enemy lie to you another day longer. Don't believe the whisper that says you must fix yourself before you feel me. Don't fall for the falsehood that says your imperfection disqualifies you from my presence. It's your honesty, not your hygiene, that draws me close. I don't need your perfection. I long for your permission, not to enter, but to heal. Because I'm already here, already near, already holding space for you to break. I'm not here to critique the chaos. I'm here to consecrate it. I'm here to declare that what was once a battlefield is now a birthing room. The pain is real, but so is my power. The grief is deep, but so is my grace. The brokenness is raw, but so is my restoration. I am not turned off by the clutter of your soul. I am turning the clutter into covenant, the disorder into destiny, a mess into a miracle. So drop the act. Let the mask fall. Let the tears stay on your face instead of wiping them away like they're shameful. There is no shame here, only Shekinah, no disgrace, only glory. I came knowing full well what I'd find, and I didn't flinch. I stepped in fully, joyfully, willingly. Because your mess is not a barrier to my love. It's the canvas I chose to paint my mercy on. This room, as it is holy ground. Not because it looks clean, but because I've entered it. And where I dwell, holiness follows. You don't need to clean the room for me. Just claim it as the place where your restoration began. You've tried so hard to say the right words, to pray the right prayers, to hold your posture like a disciple and hold your emotions like a soldier. You've rehearsed your faith like lines in a script, afraid that if you miss a cue, I might miss you. But child, stop performing. I'm not here for a show. I'm not drawn to eloquence. I don't respond to perfect phrases. I respond to presence. Yours. Feel. Revealed. And mine. Here. Surrounding you like sunlight seeping through the cracks of every broken thought. I didn't come to be impressed. I came to be close. You don't have to convince me to love you. You don't have to posture like you're confident. You don't have to perform like you're strong. I don't fall for acts. I fall for honesty. I fall for humility. I fall for the real you. The one beneath the armor, beneath the mask, beneath the noise. I didn't ask for perfect words. I asked for open wounds. And you gave them to me. When you sat in silence, when you whispered nonsense between sobs, when your prayer sounded more like groaning than grammar. That's what moved me. That's what magnetized my presence. Not a politician, but a posture of surrender. I'm not a CEO waiting for a presentation. I'm a father reaching for his child. You can fall apart mid-sentence. You can pray the wrong way. You can weep and stutter and say things you don't even mean. And I will still be here. Still loving. Still listening. Still leaning in. Because I'm not grading your prayer. I'm gathering your pain. I'm bottling every tear. I'm interpreting every breathless gasp. I don't need your language. I already know your longing. Do you know what's holy to me? It's not your perfection. It's your presence. It's the fact that you showed up. That you didn't quit. That you brought me your bruised belief and your half-hearted hallelujahs. And let me tell you something profound. Even your smallest act of staying is sacred. You think you're barely making it, but I see a warrior still standing. You think you're failing in faith, but I see a heart that keeps choosing me through every storm. And that's all I've ever asked. Not your performance, but your permission. Your willingness to let me be God, even when you don't feel holy. Especially then. That's when my grace drips thickest. That's when my voice grows loudest. That's when my nearness becomes not just theology, but touch. So now, let's drop the act together. No more pretending. No more spiritual gymnastics. No more trying to earn what has already been given. I came for presence, and I got what I came for you. Not your resume of righteousness. Not your record of wins. You. Sitting in this moment. Breathing in my grace. Leaning into my love. That's enough. That's always been enough. I didn't walk into your room to watch you perform. I came to pull you close. Close enough that my heartbeat quiets your anxiety. Close enough that your brokenness begins to believe in beauty again. Close enough that you finally understand. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for you. And now that I've found you here, I'm not going anywhere. There have been days when my silence felt suffocating. I know that. Nights when the void screamed louder than your prayers, and you wondered if I had gone quiet because you had done something wrong. You searched your memory for what you could have missed, what sin or slip might have sealed my mouth. But child, hear me now, my silence was never abandonment. It was strategy. It was sacred. You see, I've been closer than you ever imagined, not watching from above, but woven within. I've been speaking, not in the noise of the world, but in the subtle language your spirit knows instinctively. The chills that came from nowhere. The sudden stillness in your storm. The deep sigh that felt like a release you didn't know you needed. That wasn't coincidence. That was communion. That was me. You thought silence meant distance, but silence was actually depth. It was in the quiet that I was tilling the soil of your heart, pulling up weeds you didn't know had taken root. It was in the hush that I was rebuilding your discernment, teaching your soul to tune into frequency, not volume. I wasn't ignoring you. I was training you. Not punishing, but positioning. Because where I'm taking you next, you cannot afford to depend on the noise. You must hear me when others hear nothing. You must sense we when others sense absence. You must walk by the whisper and not by sight. And so I brought you into the hush, not to harm you but to hone you. I hid my voice in the folds of your breath, in the patterns of your tears, in the scriptures that lit up only when your hands were shaking. I spoke, not to your ears but to your essence. And you heard me, even if you didn't understand what you were hearing. Oh, my beloved, I've spoken to your spirit when your mind was too full to translate. I've danced through your dreams and breathed beneath your breakdowns. I was in the decision you almost made, but didn't. I was in the call you felt to stay, when every cell in your body screamed to run. That unexplainable knowing, that was me. And I need you to know, just because I didn't say it out loud doesn't mean I wasn't shouting through your soul. I was speaking safety into your nervous system. I was singing songs your conscious mind couldn't hold yet. You weren't without direction. You were being led differently. I didn't need to use thunder this time. I needed to use tenderness. Because I wasn't just trying to lead your feet. I was trying to tune your heart to a new rhythm. So now, stop grieving the silence. Don't mistake quietness for coldness. Don't let the enemy tell you I withdrew. I didn't step back, I stepped in deeper. I didn't disappear. I became indistinguishable from the very breath inside your lungs. The stillness you fought against was actually the space where your spirit was being recalibrated. It's why you feel different now. It's why you know things you didn't know before. It's why peace follows you even when understanding doesn't. Because I've been building in you a language of intimacy. And soon you'll speak it fluently. You'll recognize me not by noise but by nearness. Not by lightning strikes, but by the gentle pulse of heaven beating behind every moment. So do not resent the silence. Revere it. Because in that stillness, I didn't just speak to you. I became one with you. Child, if you knew how many souls are still crying out, God, are you even in the room with me? You'd understand why I've placed you in this moment. As you feel my presence rushing into your room, I'm asking you to help me bring that same breakthrough into theirs. When you give, whether through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing oil into lamps, fire into dry bones, light into shadows where my voice is still waiting to be heard. I said in Isaiah 58:10, if you pour yourself out for the hungry, your light will rise in the darkness. And I say to you now, this giving is not about money. It's about ministry. It's about multiplication. This is your chance to partner with me, to place a seed on the altar that heaven will breathe on. Do it now. Click the link in the description and send light into someone else's room. You've carried memories like wounds wrapped in silence. You've avoided certain thoughts like landmines, terrified they might detonate grief too heavy to bear. You've put down the pain, layered it with logic, trying to outgrow it, outrun it, outpray it. But child, I need you to hear me clearly. I was there for all of it. Every moment, every mistake, every dark room and lonely night. I never left you, even when you couldn't feel me, even when you turned your face, even when you screamed and blamed me. I stayed, not to judge but to weep with you, not to condemn, but to cover you. I was there, not as a distant deity, but as the God who walks through shadows. You thought you had to bury the past to escape its power, but I didn't come to bury it. I came to redeem it. Every painful chapter you've tried to erase, I've rewritten. With blood, with mercy, with love so loud it drowns out the shame. I didn't come with red ink to correct you. I came with resurrection ink to restore you. That memory that still makes your stomach turn. I've healed it. That failure that haunts you like a ghost, I've silenced it. That regret that loops like a sandstone, I've replaced it with rejoicing. Your history is not a curse. It's a canvas. It's where I will showcase my greatest grace. The things that made you cry the hardest will soon be the testimony that sets others free. The mess you thought disqualified you, that's the very place I'm pouring out my message. Because what I redeem, I display. And I don't hide my trophies of grace. I put them on pedestals of purpose for all the world to see. So let me have it, all of it. The moments you've never dared speak of. The fragments you told no one about. The memories that whisper, you'll never be whole again. Bring them to me. Not piece by piece. All at once. I'm not afraid of the wait. I'm not startled by the story. I already know every detail, and I'm still here. Still choosing you. Still calling you worthy. Still naming you redeemed. Your past isn't poison. Not anymore. Because the moment I touched it, it turned into power. Yes, power. Power to heal others. Power to break generational chains. Power to look in the mirror again and smile. Power to stand in rooms you once shrank in. Because I'm not rewriting your story with ink that fades. I'm carving it into eternity with fire that never dies. And listen, child, I'm not just rewriting the story, I'm writing the ending. The enemy thought he had the final word. He thought the trauma would define you. He thought the cycle would continue. He thought the shame would silence you. But I've stepped into the narrative with a new chapter in my hand. A better one. A breakthrough one. One soaked in grace and anchored in glory. You won't just survive this story, you will shine through it. What once made you hide will now make you holy. What once broke you will now build others. Because I never waste a single word, a single wound, a single whisper. I am the author, and I finish everything I begin. And child, I'm not just finishing your story, I'm crowning it. Beloved, do you sense what is happening right now? Pull back for a moment from the noise, from the insistence of your heart that you must hold together, must not break. Hear me. This moment is no accident. It is not another message to skim, another devotional to tick off. This is divine interruption. It is the universe bending toward you, heaven's borders pressing into your pain, my very presence intersecting with your aching soul. I have not waited for your readiness. I have not held back until you felt strong, until you felt worthy. I came anyway. I came through the ache. I stepped into your read-through tears, your softest sighs, the tremble you tried to hide in your voice. This is not knowledge. This is not faith in concept. This is encounter. You are not just reading words. You are being seen. You are being held. You are meeting me. I hear the gasp behind your silence, the question in your throat. Is this real you? Yes. Yes, and child. When you feel him meet you in the precise place you thought was beyond reach, that is not imagination. That is encounter. Heaven's intention has always been to come close, to rend the veil, to collapse distance, to make the unreachable reachable. This collision of heaven with your soul is my signature on your suffering, my ink on your identity. I did not wait for you to pray louder or appear more certain. I came into this very second, not because the timing was convenient, but because your brokenness was a beacon. Your desperation called me. Your honest longing pulled me across every boundary. And now, this moment, your chest may be pounding. Your eyes may burn with unshed tears. Your past may echo with failures. But I say, welcome to your threshold. The place where what once hurt you becomes the hinge of your story's greatest turn. When heaven collides with your inner world, light doesn't always flood first. Sometimes tremors shake. Sometimes the ground underfoot quivers. Sometimes your body responds before your mind can understand. Don't shrink back from what you feel. Don't think you failed because your heart is trembling. Tremble with me. Let me hold you through the quake. Because after the tremor comes transformation. After the quake comes settling. After the shaking comes the clarity you have longed for. And you, beloved, will rise out of this divine interruption stronger, more radiant, more aligned to purpose than you have ever been. This moment is not just for comfort. It is for call. It is for consecration. It is for you to be reformed, renamed, remade in my image and design. So breathe. Let your pulse slow in my presence. Let your pain become my podium. Let this intersection between what you have carried and what I carry be the place where heaven stakes its claim in your story. I am here, in this room, in this moment, more real than your fear, more powerful than your doubt, more loving than your lowliness. You are not just reading, you're encountering the living God, and your life will never be the same. Child, look around you. The walls haven't reorganized. The schedule hasn't rearranged. The bills haven't disappeared. The burdens haven't been lifted from your shoulders yet, in sight. And that is exactly why so many think nothing has changed. And yet, I want you to know, everything around you may look the same,